Hello, everyone. Welcome to this time together. I am so thankful and appreciative to each and every one of you who have logged on early and chosen to be a part. We're in for a special treat today. I'm here with my good friend and my brother, Tommy. Tommy faithfully served in the United States Marine Corps, and he and his family have been a part of the church for a long time. And today we're going to unpack a little bit of his experiences and really how he resonates with Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day week. I want to take just a second. We are honored and blessed to live in a country that acknowledges the service and the sacrifice of the men and women who have worn the uniform. And so, we have Veterans Day, which intentionally turns our hearts and our attitudes and our thought and reverence to those who have previously served. We have Armed Forces Day, celebrating those that are currently in uniform, protecting, defending, serving. And then we have Memorial Day. And today is the day that we stop, we pause, and we reflect upon those who made the ultimate sacrifice, who laid down their lives in the service of our country, of our family, of our friends, ultimately of our faith. And so, Tommy, it really is an honor and a blessing to have you with us. But take a moment and introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you for having me, Caleb. My name's Tommy Turner. Served in the United States Marine Corps for 6 years, in the late 80s, early 90s. Multiple deployments overseas. Served during the first Gulf War, and just a time in my life where I needed some direction. I needed, a change of course, I guess you want to say. And Uncle Sam in the Marine Corps helped me with that.
Very good.
Very, very well. So made me a man. Took me.
We need more of that.
Yeah. So took me from a very selfish young boy and molded me into a man. So
that's remarkable. Well, like I referenced earlier, you and your family have been here at the church for a little while. I know you're involved here, your wife, your family. Share a little bit about your time and experience here at the church.
Just thinking about that earlier when you asked me, and just been here a little over 25 years. My wife and I met here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And serving in the nursery. And then we had a small group together. And that's kind of where our relationship really blossomed. But yeah, we've got married here up in All Nations.
Yep.
And this place is home to us. This place is it's a life changer.
It absolutely is. I can attest to that.
It's a special place.
It is.
We've got two wonderful kids. A daughter that's 18 that's about to graduate from high school.
That's unreal.
A son that's a freshman in high school. And they've grown up here. They are, I guess, fruits of the labors of this place. So, and me and my wife as well. So we're very blessed to have a church home like this. And again, 25 years, it doesn't seem like I've been here that long, but yeah, it's been an amazing journey. And
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to the journey ahead.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm honored to walk alongside of you in the midst of that journey. A lot of what you shared paralleled. I met my wife here, raising my children here. Yeah. It truly is a blessing. But I want to jump into the idea of Memorial Day a little bit with you. Tommy shared an excerpt with me from an article that he found that I like to read. It states this: reflect on why these sacrifices were necessary. Set aside the cynicism of the age, which always calls into question the value of sacrifice. Whether you agreed with American involvement in a particular conflict or not, the fact that there were always Americans ready to serve and stand in the gap should inspire you. Our country, and much of the world with us, are free because of people like these. In a broken world, liberty and peace can only be preserved at the occasional cost of blood. That's profound. That is profound. I have not had the privilege to don the uniform and to serve, but you have. So as someone who has served in the military, how do you personally approach Memorial Day?
Well, as we were talking earlier, as Memorial Day comes each year, I feel like as I get a little older, I get a little more somber, a little more
rightfully so,
a little more blessed. Just we're so blessed as a nation.
Absolutely are.
And the young men and women that continue to serve this country, do hard things in hard places. It's just a blessing. So I think as Memorial Day comes every year, for me and us as a family, we try to just, we try to have fun. It's the beginning of summer. Kids are getting out of school, and they're always excited about that.
Sure.
And this year, like I said, daughter's graduating, so it's a monumental year for us. But we just always like to just take some time and pray, and just remember the sacrifices of all those that have gone before me, came after me. There are young men and women that went into really difficult places and gave up the ultimate measure for us. And I think as Americans, we just walk by that
we do.
Continually.
Far too casually.
And for me, it's a hard day.
It is.
Not because I'm sad because I'm still here, but I just want us to remember the sacrifices. And ultimately that leads into our Christian faith, right?
It does.
Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice for us.
He did.
So,
for us.
Shed blood, right?
Shed blood.
So, anyway.
There's a cost to freedom. And Pastor,
freedom's not free.
It's not. It's
and
not.
If you think that, you're sorely mistaken. I will
said.
bring that to your attention if you happen to think that out.
Well, you can hold me accountable.
Well, I didn't mean you personally. I meant in general.
Well, I appreciate that. But you mentioned the parallels between the sacrifices that we see of the men and women serving in our military, and we're called to make sacrifices as Christ followers. We're called to pick up our cross daily. I mean, living in service of Christ will come at cost, will come at sacrifice. So again, as someone, you bring a unique perspective to this. As someone who has lived a life of service and sacrifice, both in the military and in your walk and in your faith, how do you see that principle at work in the midst of our faith? What parallels, correlations would you share with us that you learned in the military, because ultimately we're living on a battlefield, and now it's a spiritual one. We're not ducking mortar fire or missiles or rockets or anything like that, but we're waging spiritual warfare. So what parallels do you see in the midst of that?
I think the ultimate parallel is that the devil is here to seek, kill, and destroy, right?
It's true.
And every day we have to get up and put on that armor, right? That helmet of truth, and all those different pieces of the armor, and it can't be partially put on. You can't just put on the helmet and the belt, right? You have to put it all on. You have to put on the shield and and the breastplate and the boots, and so without the full kit, I guess, is if you want to call it into the military terminology, if you go out without your full kit on, you're vulnerable to the enemy's attacks. So for me and us as Christians, I think just being intent and intentional about putting on every day, not every other day, not a couple of times a month, every day. And Memorial Day is one day of the year for us as Americans, but I think as Christians, we have to do this every day, because again, the devil's he's coming, and it's evidenced by some of the things that are going on in our country, in our world today. And so just want to try to be humble in that, not be overtly, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Just I want to stand firm in who I am and who we are.
When you've done everything you can, continue to stand.
Lock arms with your brothers and sisters in Christ, and go forth. Right.
Absolutely.
It's a good lesson that we try to teach our kids. It's like because they're being inundated with things that me as an 18 or a 14-year-old we're not experienced. So
That's true.
The world is evolving into an even darker place. So
Unfortunately,
we have to really make sure our foundations are rooted in the Word and in Christ, and ultimately we'll get to see Him. That's His promise, right?
It is. So, that's our hope.
Yeah.
That's our hope. Well, just a few observations that I would share. Whether we're talking about military sacrifice or walking out our faith, both demand courage. Pastor Allen shares frequently about the men and women who were on I believe they were called U-boats, excuse me, and they stormed the beaches of Normandy. And as soon as that gate came down, they were met with gunfire. And he's raised the questions that we have to wrestle with if we were called today to reenact that in whatever land, whatever country. Would we have the courage and the boldness to do so? But like you said, every day we're walking into a spiritual battle, and we have to have that recognition as we walk into it. I think another parallel is both take self-denial. You have to put the well-being of others before yourself, and I think some of that is also it's loyalty to a greater cause. Yeah. We're both busy. We have schedules. We have things we have to attend to, but ultimately our cause is not our own. It's Christ's. Right. And so we can unpack this at length. But Tommy, I want to thank you for your time.
You're
thank you for
welcome.
being here, sharing your perspective. Thank you for your service to all of those that, I think there's very few of us that are completely inundated from anyone that we know, whether family members, friends, co-workers who have donned the uniform, and again, who have served faithfully and loyally, consistently, and ultimately having the recognition that there may be a time that they're called upon to make the greatest sacrifice. And so I want to thank each and every one of you. If you have a loved one, a family member, a friend who laid down their life, please know that they are not forgotten. We will remember. We will remember their service, their sacrifice. We will honor that. We will cherish that. But I cherish you spending this time with us. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.